So we want to talk about several additional example problems related to stacks, and these problems can be divided into two parts. The first part are problems that use the last in first out property of stack, so require mainly to understand this concept of stack and apply it in different problems. The second one uses a special kind of stack known as the monotonic stacks. So first, let's look at this LeetCode problem, asteroid collisions. So you are given an array of integers, and they represent asteroid. For each asteroid, the absolute value represents its size, and the sign represents its movement direction. So if it's a positive, it means that it's moving right. If it's negative, it means that it's moving left. Each asteroid moves at the same speed. If the two asteroids move toward each other, they collide. When they collide, the small one will explode. The small one will be destroyed. If two of them are the same size, then both of them will be destroyed. And if two asteroids are moving in the same direction, then they will never meet. So the question asks us to find out the final state, the final steady state where there's no more collisions. So let's look at this example. First one is -2, so that means it's moving toward the left. So this one will not collide with anything. So this will be the first element in output. The second element is 3, so it means that it's moving right. So this one is moving right. The next one is 1, it's also moving right. The next one is also 1, it's also moving right. And then the next one is -1, it's moving left. So then this 1 and the -1 will collide, and they will be both destroyed. And next one we have -2. -2 is moving left, and after these two are destroyed, we have 1 moving right. So then this 1 will be destroyed because it's smaller. Then we have -2 facing 3, and then the -2 will be destroyed. So we have 3 left. The next one is 2. So these 2 and 3, they are both moving toward the right. They will not collide. So then the final state we have is -2, 3, and 2. So now I encourage you to solve this problem on LeetCode yourself before moving on. So here's my solution code. So what we can do is we can use a stack. So when we see a negative value, okay, so let's say we start by pushing this asteroid onto the stack. So when I see a negative value, we will need to check the stack whether they have a positive value there, because if they are, then there will be a collision. And then depending on how they compare, we'll have different outcome. So for example, here we can have push a -2, 3, 1, 1 onto stack, and then when we see -1, we check the stack. The top element is positive, and it's the same. So then they will collide. Then they will destroy each other. So then we will pop this from the stack, and then we will also this thing is also gone. And then we see the next one, it's -2. So then we need to look at the top of stack again. This time the top of stack is smaller. So then we will pop this, and then we look at the next one. It's still positive, but it's bigger. So then we will destroy this. Then we stop. We don't need to look at the stack again. So we can use a stack to do this. And for this question, because at the very end, we need to output the whole content of the stack from the beginning to the end. So then the last part of the output actually, the most natural way is to access it from beginning to end. Even though it's not totally necessary, you can get the stack side, you can fill the answer array from backward. So anyway, here I use this. I use a deck, double-ended queue for this, so that while I'm deciding outcome of collisions, I use it as a stack, accessing at the end. but at the very end, I will actually access it from the beginning. So this is really, it's really unnecessary. Oh, and also I use this new Java streaming syntax to convert this into array. So it does the job in one line, but it's significantly slower than using an array. So it's I really don't like this this syntax, but that's really just a personal taste. So instead of using a deck, I could have just used a stack, and then I just get this site and pop it directly, fill it in an array from backward. Or I could just use an array list because a stack accessing things just at the end. So long as I remember the index at the, I don't even need to remember the index because I'm just accessing the last element. So their method directly accessing that. And then I just need to convert the array list into array. So otherwise the code is fairly straightforward. So for every element here, if it's greater than 0, it's going right. It won't collide with anything that's already on the stack. So we just add it to the stack, and then we look at the next one. Otherwise, the asteroid is moving to the left, so x is less than 0. So then we will be keep popping until q is empty, and until this last element we have is actually moving right. Because if the first guy on the stack is moving left, there's nothing else for us to do except to add it to the stack. So when we do see the top of the stack is not empty and it's moving right, it's greater than, I guess it's greater than 0 would be fine. There shouldn't be 0 on the stack. So we get that value and then we compare. If the one on the stack is bigger, then this x is destroyed. So I assign to 0 to denote that. Otherwise, if they're the same, then I pop this and x is also destroyed. Otherwise, it's only the thing on the stack that's destroyed. X is remain on 0, so I will be keep looping here. So that's it for this problem.